Hi there, Scorpio. Thank you for joining me for your weekly forecast for week commencing the 20th of July. Your desire to open up your world has probably been quite profound of late, or at least to make some fundamental changes to your everyday routines, because change really has felt as good as a rest. Or has it? Because if you have been struggling with embracing some opportunities because you'd rather stay with what you would know, then this week can still give you that dilemma, because Mars, your co-ruler, which of course was causing such a tense environment last week in its opposition with Pluto, this week is squaring up with Uranus. Now when these two are in a square, the energy is like this, at least for you this time. Mars is in an area which can see you impatient for that change and wanting to really embrace the more freedom-loving side of your nature and independence, whereas Uranus is in an area where you need to think about your obligations and commitments to others. So you could find yourself wanting to escape and then being pegged back, but you need to be conscious that you're not almost fabricating a scenario that you can't escape from, because it kind of suits you to stay where you are, even with all its faults and any grievances you may have. And yet at the start of this week, the Sun and Mercury are helping, if you choose to take up the opportunity, helping you to clarify what you really need to do. But there may be moments of frustration this week if you do feel you're being pegged back by the perceived desires of others. On the other hand, we can't all just go chasing freedoms. We have to take account of our responsibilities and be reasonable and honourable about them. Otherwise, the world just wouldn't work. So when it comes to those kind of obligations, Saturn's location in your sign and its right angle to Jupiter is saying, yeah, you need to take them seriously. This square is much less grievous in a way, because Jupiter can actually be quite good for Saturn and Saturn good for Jupiter. They kind of counterbalance the excesses that each can bring to the situation. But the great news is that the Sun and Mercury climb to the top of your horoscope on Thursday and Friday respectively, and that's going to give you a massive opportunity in the weeks to come to showcase your talents. And it could be the change you need is around your work as much as where you live, or your personal routines, or your interests. It's possible that you will find yourself traveling this week as well, and it could be around an interview or a presentation that you need to do, or you may be thinking much more about higher education, or in some way learning new skills through some kind of formal training program. But at the end of the week, Venus slams on the brakes. Initially, for the moment, she remains in the friendliest part of your horoscope through to the end of July. This could see you thinking a bit more about your social interactions. It may be that someone you know through a friend or a group of people is someone you're attracted to, but you're not sure. Then Venus is then going to go back into the part of your scope that's to do with your work. So it is possible between the start of August and the early part of October that you could find that your thinking around a relationship could be a little bit fluid. But I'll tell you more about that next time. But this week, I think it's the transition between these freedoms that you've been craving to just being more conscious of responsibilities and obligations, and how some of your goals and aims are going to come into much greater focus as the week draws to a close. It's been a real pleasure being with you. Thank you for joining me. Good luck and goodbye for now.